The Ocean Foundation, a lot of other foundations, many in the conservation community, and many fishers have been working on incentives for fishermen to be more stewardship-minded, more conservation-minded. And those suggestions have included this tool, and we've called these individual transferable quotas, ITQs, IFQs, LAPPs, and now the fad word is catch shares. We have 5 times as many boats as we need to catch the fish in the sea. So we're not yet on a sustainable pathway on our globe where 1 out of 7 people, which is 1 billion people by the way, rely on fish for their daily protein. The United States passed the Magnuson-Stevens Fisheries Management and Conservation Act, which was really the first attempt to do a better job on overfishing in the United States. But it wasn't really until 2006 that teeth were added to that, requiring that all of our fisheries management councils for the different regions of our country that we've divided our fishing into were told they had to stop overfishing. One of the tools that came with the 2006 amendment to the Magnuson-Stevens Act was catch shares. Catch shares is a little bit like it sounds. It's asking, what is your share as a fisherman of the catch this year? So if the scientists say the total allowable catch, the TAC, is X, and you're one of the fishermen in that fishery, what's your share? Shares of a TAC were first used, they were used in order to make fishermen more safe, so that fishermen didn't have to rush to catch the last fish, rush to catch part of the total allowable catch that year, go out in bad weather, and as a result, a lot more fishermen have been saved, and a lot of fishing boats have been saved. A number of years ago, the city of New York issued medallions that are actually attached to the taxi cabs, and there are only a certain number of them. So the medallions became very, very valuable. And the industry became consolidated in just a few hands who owned all of the medallions, and their bankers who loaned the money against the medallions. And so as the population of New York grew and there was a need for more taxis, those bankers didn't want to see the value of the medallions they had loaned money against go down. The people who owned the medallions didn't want to see the value of the medallions go down, and so they opposed new entrants into the field. So this is what's happening with the fisheries as well. What we've witnessed is a consolidation of fisheries in which the number of boats in a particular fisheries is reduced, where ownership, the number of fishermen, is reduced, corporate industrialization of fisheries, moving the fisheries away from communities to large conglomerate holders of those fisheries, a loss of fishing culture in New England and other parts of our country, and basically a very strong sort of almost monopolistic control in certain fisheries. When you have this consolidation into a few hands, those companies become very big, very wealthy, and very powerful. And we've seen this in the Bering Sea, where we've got these fishing companies out of Seattle, because they have the ability to bring to bear their attorneys, their paid-for scientists. It's very hard for underfunded government agencies, relatively underfunded NGOs, and even smaller fishers in the same fishery to stand up against them. If we create powerful economic engines, corporate fishing, who oppose any further environmental conservation measures, we may not be getting where we need to go on this issue. There is something about, family businesses in this country and traditional fisheries of native peoples in Alaska that we lose as well. And I think that's really important. We are fearful of even using the vocabulary of catch share so that it sounds like you own shares in the way that you might own shares of a company sold in the stock market. There are a lot who feel that any kind of a quota system, and certainly anything that is structured the way catch shares is a de facto privatization of public resources. It's giving away a resource, let's say that belongs to the government on behalf of the people, to individuals or corporations for free. Are we risking creating a property right here in which the banks who are loaning money to the fishermen, the businesses who are acquiring catch share, are making business plans based on revenue models that assume they own this percentage of the TAC and that their revenue is going to keep coming in a way that they can make money year after year? And if circumstances, scientific or otherwise, force our regulators, our fisheries management councils, to change the TAC, are they going to claim that this is taking away their economic advantage and sue for that? There is no reason necessarily to believe that catch shares, knowing that you have a right to catch part of the total allowable catch, is going to inspire you to become a steward of the fish. Even where catch shares reduces the number of boats in a fishery, the boats don't go away. They move to another fishery, to another country, to another state. And so we end up with no reduction in the total capacity to fish, just because we've done something in a single species fishery, which is one of the real problems here, right? We're still thinking in single species terms for management rather than about the entire ecosystem and the balances of the ecosystem. As a member of the funding community, I think we are obliged to be the ones who can step back and look at these issues in a holistic, global fashion. We are the ones who need to be thinking about food security, equity, social, cultural protections, as well as conservation and environmental protections, even as we create some sort of an economic incentive for fishermen to do a better job. An economic incentive only system has unintended consequences for food security, cultures, people, the environment, and frankly for the future of conservation.